guess. But yeah, it got away from me right there a little bit. Almost spun it. Was able to gather it up. But it's just interesting how close the times are. I think today the qualifying was pretty close. I think all the mid-pack guys were like 10-1 to 10-4. And although some of the guys don't maybe practice as much as they could or should, which sometimes makes a difference when you're racing with people that practice a lot or every day. But there seems to be enough competition here that no matter where you are in the pack, that you have somebody to race with. Yeah, so here I fly in finally. Okay, now watch that lower corner here. This I thought was a pretty good stop here. Disco is back here, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, he's not even on that chicane yet, and I'm rolling, so I can beat him out. And it was pretty darn close. And I know him and I had a pretty good race, I think, from the standpoint of he knew where I was, I knew where he was. And it's interesting when you race like this, you practice a lot, but when you're actually in a live race, boy, you know he's right here. Look at the indicators right here. Look at the indicators. Yeah, he's right behind me. Look at the track map. Of course, this is the situation you always see on TV, where the guy's coming out of the pits and the guy behind is on hot tires and he's trying to overtake him. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it together. He's right here. He's sitting on me, waiting for me. Carries some good speed there. And frankly, a lot of pressure right here. I mean, you make one bobble, he's gonna be right there. Now, I haven't seen anything with Phil yet. I haven't seen an incident with Phil, so I'm not sure. Yeah, some after post talk was. See, I blocked that line. See that? I pull right in front of him there. Get one block. That was pretty good. Yeah, I slow him up a little bit, get on the throttle sooner. Now what? He'll reel me right in here. Now I think at this point, yeah, does he go in or does he stay out? Yeah, see, he goes in. Then I realize if he's not on a 3-stop race, we're going to be playing this cat and mouse for the rest of the race. So at this point, I felt I should be able to stay ahead of him for the remaining part of the race. Now I think this at this point was the 3rd stop, so I thought, well, for him to go 15, 25, 35, him to go 20 laps on a set of tires is going to be stretching it. So I was pretty convinced he was doing the same strategy I was. Although we did learn that a few of you guys up front, as you listen to this video, were actually on a 3-stop race. And I think I tried that last week. I think I need to get my act together on the strategies way before the race day shows up, because I think I find myself struggling on those, making those quick decisions as the game's loading before the start of the race. So gotta give that more thought. Yeah, it could be definitely more race strategy practice and strategy setup during the weekdays before the race on Tuesday evenings. Here I push a little wide, I think, and I'll bash the wing there. Okay, so at this point I'm trying to find the gap. Now J Digital is untouchable at this point. I feel that anything above this 6 is untouchable at this point. I just don't have the speed. I think the pit members are telling me I have to start lapping in low 111s. Although I think at this point I almost lost it there. Anytime you see that car come towards that inside wall after that chicane, you know your back end's getting a little loose. I'm sure some of the fast guys are watching this video. You can probably see my gear selection, speed to the corner. So I'm not. I don't think I'm really trusting the setup. The car definitely had some good, more oversteer to it. So I was able to turn the car. I was responding. Now here I think I was slow. I think there's some time to be made there. Yeah, so Disco was 12 seconds back, I think it read. So at this point, I think he reels me in a little bit. I'm just trying to maintain. I'm just thinking to myself, just don't hit the wall. Just execute. Keep the car rolling. 12.613. So watch that time here. Joel posts a fast time of 1:10.5. Then I see that and I'm thinking to myself, I was doing 1:10s before in practice in a Grand Prix mode. And I don't know why I can't do it now. So I'm just, again, maybe just not carrying enough speed. Well, we know that lap time's slow. You're not going fast, you're going slower. But ultimately, there's the 2nd or 3rd corner cut of the day. And I think a little wide right here. I mean, certainly when I see J Digital and I see him, I think I can probably he can push me a little bit. But then you have to kind of stay in that mode of comfort zone and not get yourself out of the groove and overdrive the car. So he's 12.69. So I realize I'm maintaining gap here, and at this point I'm thinking to myself, we just need to get to the 25th lap or so. Of course, I am thinking if I can get enough time on him. Although I think most of the racers here are pretty good from the standpoint, unless someone makes a mistake, or they're just plain slower. There's a 109.5. Yeah, although I think 105.9 is probably untouchable, but I think I did that in time attack mode, but that's when the car's at its best, right? Not on full tanks less 17 laps. So pink tank's in first right here, and that means that Joel, Mughal, and Wolfman are up there. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fifth is J Digital. Sixth, Wittod, Disco. See, now it's 11.6, so he's taking some time out of me. Although my feeling was that with those last pit stops, I felt I could definitely stay ahead of him if he had the same schedule I had, because every time I would go in before he went in, which I think in those first level of pit stops, I felt I needed to press a little more, which is why I didn't go in. Although I feel like I'm not following my orders when pit calls you and you don't go in. So, I mean, trying to think on a strategy on the fly is kind of risky, I guess. But at this point, I think all my pit stops, I end up going one lap past my scheduled pit stop. Now, there was some key moves, though, that Disco had coming off the track, and I think that's what, overall, in retrospect here, what hurt the position of him getting 7th versus 6th. I think there was one event where all of a sudden he was ahead of me, I think at the next pit stop, and all of a sudden I look and he's right in front of me, and I thought I hit him. I thought my race was over. He turned to ghost, and I drove right through him, and really scared the heck out of me, because I thought at that point hitting the halfway point here, or past halfway. So whatever your experience now, halfway, you got to do it all over again, right? So we're just maintaining at 10.9. He was up to 12.6, so he took a couple of seconds out of me. He's pressing, though. And I think that pressing is, my feeling was he's going to press himself out. That's what I thought. Because I'm just trying driving. I wasn't necessarily on the limit. I wasn't pressing that much. I was just trying to maintain, although it's always interesting when you watch F1 on TV and you hear these guys pressing and not pressing. Here I pass on the pit again, because I know we're on the schedule. So my feeling is I don't want to break the schedule. I need to stay out and do one more lap. And I'm not sure what difference that makes. I guess I'd have to look at the difference between the lap times, but I'm 9/10 slower right there. Yeah, he's just reeling me in. But if all goes well, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'll go in. He'll pass me, or maybe I'll come out ahead. Although I think at this point I know he's going to be ahead of me. And then he'll go in, and then we just take it to the finish, right? And I take it back. I think I have 2 more stops after this. 20? Yeah, like I'm doing a pit stop almost every 7 laps. This can't be right. Is that right? Well, the first pit stop I think was 6 or 7, and then 14. Plus another 7 is what, 21. Another 7 is 27. So I thought it said 4, not 5. Okay, so watch the dot here. There is Disco just passed me right here, right now on the track. Of course, he's got to take that chicane, so I'm thinking, well, maybe I can get right behind him here. Of course, he moves into position. Yeah, I think it was right up here somewhere. All of a sudden, I'm thinking, okay, he's not sure if this lap or in the high 20s here, but somewhere he goes off the track. Almost lost it right there. Almost came around to me there. Remember, these are all primes. I remember when I'm pitting on primes. I don't have the option, so those are going to be a little faster. And I still don't know why it didn't allow me to put the primes on. Although, if I only use one set of primes for the initial strategy, or the initial qualifier, and then I came back and put primes on, that should have gave me 2 more primes. But I guess I have to go back and use those older primes first, right? So maybe that's the problem. Older options, rather. Okay, so I'm looking for the dot here. I don't see him in the pits, so I'm going to press on. Okay, there's John Robb. John Robb had a kind of a rough race. Usually he is up front as well. Okay, there it is right there. Did you see it? Yeah, he's off the track there. And then, of course, I think he realizes, too, that's the end of his. I'm not sure what would have happened if he would have went in. Yeah, we'd have to go back and look at the video, see how many seconds he was up. But at this point, he's not happy because once you lose your rhythm of the race, and I'm sure Disco, as you're listening to this, you know it gets upsetting when you're trying to get in that groove and you drive off the track. Now, with all fairness, I mean, some of these guys are not running assistance, so certainly if you're running full no traction control, that's why I think some of these guys were slipping and sliding on the start out of these turns, and I can kind of mush my foot down, although I'm trying to stay away from full traction control and go with medium at least. I think until the new pedals come, and then they say the new pedals will help you. I think you still press the pedal and scroll it away. So at this point, the tables are turned, and I take the position away. So now I'm thinking, well, okay, I'm going to pit another 7 laps. Although I would admit, I'm thinking to myself here, just keep it together. Because, at this point, the whole race, I really didn't have any mistakes. I never really drove off the track. I didn't have any driver errors or any mental fading. Sometimes the car just came around, I think, because of I think I throttled up a little too quick, but basically overall a pretty decent race. I mean, outside of just learning to become faster to compete with the top guys, I think is about as good as I can hope here today. Okay, so there's Wolfman about 30 some seconds up. So I realized he was lapping at that faster time. I think the pit board was telling me that I had to lap in the low 11s, and I'm just thinking to myself, why can't I get to the 11s or 10s? I think I'm just running a little too conservative here. Yeah, because all you can do is, even though you did the times previously in practice, all you can do is, my position is to maintain for points and to at least try to make up for last week's performance. And I'd feel bad if I scrolled it away here. And I'm right here, only really 100 miles an hour. I feel I can go faster in that first chicane there. That'd be the last chicane. Here's the first one. Okay, here we actually, I think we get some type of a warning that someone crashed. Although I was thinking that the leaders haven't come around yet, so I'm thinking, geez, I hope I can finish on the lead lap, but I think they end up getting a lap there. So here we're at about 29 minutes into the race here. We might make this a 3-parter. Now, I haven't seen anything with Phil. I think there was some talk post-race that Phil felt he got hit or something, and my name came up, and I said I don't recall that. So I don't know if that was actually on the first start. Yeah, I remember I'll have to make another video just for that first start. I thought that was a pretty decent start. Well, not decent for me, but decent for some of the people that walked around me. But I think today we had on the restart here, I think we had 14 guys, I think, today. Which actually might have slipped down to 12, I think, when we restarted. I think we lost 2 guys. Yeah, on the issue.